I've been working on making a comfy and practical workshop for the last 6 months, while using it to make some fun and whimsy projects. And today I want to show how I did it and why my tools have grown bigger. Or am I getting smaller? Bonjour! Having a room filled with tools and supplies separate from my living space has always been a goal. This all is kind of my job now. Still can't really wrap my head around this. So, crafting can get pretty messy, and I did have a few meals on tables that were filled with sewing pins and other sharp objects. But since getting a house in the middle of nowhere gets me a lot more space, I can finally design my perfect working space. A happy place to build my silly projects. If you haven't followed me on here or Instagram, this is where we started. A bare room with cold tiles and a few insects. Removing them was obviously the most difficult part. And after vanquishing all those beasts, the actual monster was doing all the floors by myself. But I did it! And now we have a clean and insulated room that we can organize and decorate. I am overwhelmed by the world constantly, and one of the ways I deal with that is by being extremely organized with my stuff. We have this big pile, this box, this box, this box, this box, and those boxes. Everybody has their coping mechanisms. Mine is sorting through stuff. A friend with a messy garage and they don't know where to start? I'm really not judging the way people live, but if they need my help, I will go there and I will organize. For fun. I mean, I'm a fun person, I promise. But it just does make me happy to see things organized as a rainbow. So this is where we are now. I need furniture because I have a lot of tools and materials that I need to store. And even though the garage is full of old furniture pieces, they are not really practical because I need a lot of drawers, I need a lot of organizing. And also they are kind of all in the same style, which is nice in a way, but a lot of the house is gonna look like this, so I want something a little bit different here where I'm going to spend a lot of my time. Why am I so shiny? I went to every thrift store and antique shop in the area and I didn't find what I was looking for, which was a lot of drawers, a lot of shelves, and if possible a lot of them identical so I can turn them into surfaces like a working table. I did find a few that were kind of good, but they were so expensive, I really don't have the budget for that. So I hope you will forgive me, but I went to IKEA. And make something that's very functional but also looks like an artist's studio a little bit. This is what I got for now. Yes, I moved them myself and yes, they were heavy. I got some Kallax and Alex because it rhymes, kind of. This needs to move here. I need to move the ironing table onto a Kallax and it will go here. I need to destroy this, remove the feet and sand it. Sand it and varnish it and put it on the Alex units. This will make kind of a really big desk that will go here. And I'm hoping to get those 4 cubes on top of this table with a shelf on top of it so I can have the sewing machine on front of that. Pro tip, don't put plants on your white IKEA furniture. So stupid. I love my little collection of sewing and costuming books and I want them on display here. Building 10 pieces of furniture from IKEA is not technically complicated, but it's like a super boring Lego. But it is quite satisfying when it's done. And I can add little labels on each drawer, which is also something that I really enjoy. I realized that I really sound like a control freak. I'm not, it's just anxiety. This table weighs a ton and it's going to be perfect as a tabletop for my sewing table. But it is too dark, so let's remedy that. That took forever. It was actually the perfect color, but my varnish was not actually transparent varnish. But I can live with that. I'm overall very happy with this. It's going to make a huge desk, perfect for the sewing machines and storing a bunch of stuff. The standing was very tedious and it's not perfect, but you know why? It is not solid wood. This is a lie. I got a bit distracted and I sanded a bit too much here, and you can see that it is not a solid wood table. But still, I'm very happy with it. The color matches the floor instead of this, but I'm not mad about it. I think it looks fine. Now I realize that I have to sand this as well, but another day. The ironing table and working table are gonna be on wheels. It is so useful when you can adapt the configuration of your room to your project. Sometimes move just everything when you need to work on a big thing on the floor. And also for cleaning, because I'm telling you, there will be no more spiders in this room. Ah yes, a little bit more organizing and labeling. The pegboard system from IKEA is also one of my favorites. I love that you can have all your favorite tools visible and organize them however you want. More organizing and labeling. Then it's time to take care of the ironing table, because having it right on top of the furniture is not good, because the steam going through the fabric has nowhere to go, and it will build up on the furniture and destroy it. But I had a plan all along. That's why this furniture was slightly lower than the other, to add some feet directly onto the ironing table. That way it sits on top of its unit next to the ironing station, but I can also move it around in case I want to iron a very big thing that needs to be in the middle of the room. I moved the big sewing desk on the other side, but let's go to it very quickly, using the magic of editing. We were getting into the spooky season, so I wanted to add a little bit more magic with some fairy lights on my tools. And finally getting a tabletop for my working table. It's just a big plank that I could have done earlier, but I'm spreading expenses, okay? I'm rounding the edges using la défonceuse, also known as a router. Some white paint from an old can and a very fancy varnish that is supposed to be very strong and very resistant to damage. But I'm going to damage it later in this video. And the last functioning thing was just changing the light from the ugly and impractical thing that it was into an LED panel that has some settings that you can change from warm to cold. Let me tell you, it is super useful for filming. And now it is finally time to add some decoration. The plan is to make some giant sewing tools. Why? Well, I still have a plan to turn my whole house into something very whimsy and fantasy. Every room will have a theme, so I guess this room can be like the workshop of Cinderella's mice. And also, I think it's just a very stupid and fun idea, and I love it. You can't stop me. Safety pin. The two most common types are those. I think I'm gonna go with this one. So when I flatten it, this thing seems to look like some sort of arrow. So I need to cut this shape out of metal, but big. And I have a sheet of metal that will allow me to make a big one. I'm kind of sad that I'm going to cut it off, but let's go! In my magic garage, I also found this steel rod that should be perfect for my safety pin, but can... So that's a no. Is it less straight? Did I bend it a little? new plan. Aha! Next is the tip of the sewing pin, just winging the shape here. To bend this damn thing. I have tried every tool that they have, every hammer, every pliers, but without any tool for heat or something round to just hammer around it. It was a freaking mess. Even the small ones, they have those little pleats or these little cuts to have the metal bend in two directions at the same time, and I really did struggle for this. But sometimes it's okay to realize that you are not equipped for this. And after questioning all my choices in life, I need to go in another direction. And I destroyed this very fun sheet of metal for nothing. So definitely this isn't really working out. I think I'm going to go in another direction. Because look at this safety pin. I think I can make that part in wood instead. In the magical garage of surprises, I found a few pieces of wood, amongst other things. There are more pieces, maybe I can find something interesting that is not this kind of stuff, but maybe I can destroy furniture. If I don't have enough, you're next. So this should be great to make a needle, this for my safety pin, and these two pieces of plywood for the rest, like the scissors and the spools. Rounding off one edge of the steel rod and chopping off the excess of the other one. I really like this part because it makes a lot of sparkles. Very cute. Back to la défonceuse to dig a groove for the steel rod. To make some giant thread spools, I'm going to use these panettone boxes. They are filled with some scrap yarn for now. I have 4 of them right now. And I think if I put 2 of them together, it's like the perfect ratio for... And this was the package for panettone, so it means I basically got them for free. I'm going to do 2 spools of threads, so I need a top and bottom. Oh. 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 So 8 circles for the spoons and 2 pieces for the scissors. And maybe if I have some pieces left, I can do some buttons. We'll see later. For the scissors, I'm thinking maybe some sewing scissors, but the 2 pieces are not the same shape. But maybe if I go towards more of the embroidery scissors, they are a bit cuter and the 2 pieces are the same shape, so I think this will be a smarter choice. Maybe I should have made a mock-up. Okay, it's not exactly perfect, but they work. On the dry safety pin, I'm cutting off the excess wood, using the router to round those edges, and cutting a hole through it so we can actually have a functioning safety pin, which for a safety pin this size will be absolutely useless. I have no idea why I'm doing this, I just hope you will appreciate my dedication. It's so cold it literally broke the plastic. But I want to thank my Patreons for new protection and gloves. Gloves that are actually my size, because I use these and you can't really feel anything inside. My fingers basically stop here. A bit of polishing on the steel rod so it's all shiny. Filling the gaps with homemade wood filler, which is basically sawdust and wood glue. I have cut all the circles for the spools of threads, and I don't have any more wood left. Only pieces like this. There's only the 2 holes from the scissors, so I'm just going to make 2 small buttons with this, and we are good on the cutting. Good morning! It is freezing in the garage. I need to connect one cover to the bottom of the other. So it can basically be 2 compartments. I think it will be more practical for storing stuff. So, rivets. Only 6 more. Back in the workshop because I was freezing in the garage, so let's finish here. Brou de noix. Okay, I cannot work on the fabric yet. I'm going to wait for tomorrow until it dries, but in the meantime I think I can do the last piece, which was making a giant needle. I am not going back in the garage, so I'm just going to sculpt the soft wood of this needle, trying with this big-ass knife that my partner actually forged himself. Feel free to give him a little compliment on the comment. It is his first one, and he also made the handle with some old olive tree wood. Okay, it's actually way easier with a box cutter. Please don't tell him. While the spool dries, I want to add a tiny final detail. If I look at some very old spools of threads, you can see they have a very cool logo and just a little label on them. So I'm going to add this detail on mine. While this dries back on the needle, it may just be a box cutter, but we have a saying in French, and that's pas de viande amie sur le chemin, which means no friendly meat on the way, so the blade goes away from you. And finally I can assemble all my things. Gluing lots and lots and lots of strips of fabric onto the sanded boxes. I promise we are almost done. You can see that even my camera is tired. The second bobbin will be pink, because it makes me happy. Now we just need to find the right place for those objects, hang them on the walls. A tiny bit of cleaning up and we are good. This was the last 6 months working on and off on this room. It is now ready. And if you are like me, you enjoy watching how other people organize their crafting stuff. So I guess let's go for a room tour. Welcome to my studio. Let's go for a room tour. When we arrive, we have the colorful fabrics. This puts me in a good mood right away. And the studio is right here. We even have some heating now, which is awesome because it's getting cold. Behind the door is the board where I can have a few of my drawings and stuff that I'm working on. My two mannequins, which are not my size, but I'm somewhere in between those two, between the width and the height. And I now have the big safety pin on top we can use to hang some stuff I'm working on as well. Next to it is the old bathroom, which is now a closet. I'm keeping the sink because it's useful for my paints. Hello. And the shower is now storage for ugly stuff, but very organized ugly stuff. And this piece that I salvaged from my old drawer system. A few equipments in there. Little cacti that I made for storing my needles. And I use this one to display stuff I like, which is currently the leather bolero, if you remember this from a previous video. We have all the pencils, markers and drawing stuff from this unit. Paint brushes, stationery, a lot of old pencils that probably don't work, but I'm not going to go through them now. My trims and ribbons. My croissant slippers when I need to make some French seams. Pegboard for all the sewing tools that I use all the time. Scissors, fabric weights, tracing stuff, pins, hand sewing stuff. Pliers, tape, pens, random things, rulers, sculpting tools, knives, contact cement, fabric glue, wood glue, glue. Music, very important. The charging station for my camera. A new thread storage. Random tools, I will put some screwdrivers and hammers over there. All the little storage, let's go quickly. The main sewing machine, the serger. We have the embroidery machine right under it. My emotional support animal. I made him after watching Dark Crystal. He's a very good boy.
Yes, indeed.
All the extra sewing tools, glue gun, heat gun, embroidery stuff, strange papers. We have the tech drawer with all my camera equipment. Tripod, batteries, SD cards, microphone, bias tape and horsehair. A ton of zippers. Corsetry stuff. Just wire, I haven't organized everything yet. Buttons, rhinestones, lights and electronics, dyes, some old paints, and that's my face. Embroidery threads, all the stuff for the big embroidery machine, random things, wrapping stuff, boxes, are sometimes useful. On the big working table, these up there are for current projects. The bottom ones are things like interfacing and batting. The old bed sheets that are used for mock-up. Oh, this is getting low. Some space for putting up random things that I need to organize later. The other side is all fabrics. Black, grey, white, lace, comfy fleece, glittery fabrics, beaded fabrics. On the ironing table, I have the cutting mat here, the ironing tools. The others are empty. Ponies for an important project that I will do someday. Printed fabrics. And in here I have my collection of sewing books. And this is all documents, all my homemade patterns. I have so many, I think I need to digitize them at some point. But that's a lot of work. The rest is empty, I still have some cardboard boxes to organize. But I think this place is almost done. Maybe I will add some artwork and maybe an extra light, I don't know, painting the walls. But it's all just decoration. Now it's just fully functional and I am so happy in this room. I am so happy that you made it through this long video, so please subscribe, have a nice holidays and I will see you next year. Bye!